Welcome to my program Journey to Great Business. My name is Rajiv Jaiswal and I am a business consultant, and I have put together this series called Journey to Business that brings you tips, processes and things that you can easily do in your business that can help make your business a great business. So in one of my earlier videos I talked about the fact that we need to qualify our leads, and in order to grow the business, we also need to have more leads. So today we are going to talk about how we can actually rate these leads so that we know what leads that we need to follow. So in order to rate the leads, there are many tools that are available. There are many CRMs that are available. There are many predictive tools that are available. All of these help us to get to a number that tells us how important or how unimportant this lead is. And this number is called a lead score. So what is a lead score? Now let's say for example I tell you that the lead is a very hot lead, or lead is very hot, or lead is not hot. How do you know how important the lead is or how relevant the lead is for you at this particular point of time? So what a lead score does, it gives you a number to understand the importance of the lead. Let's say we have a rating scale from 0 to 10, and if I were to say that the lead score of this particular lead is 9, what does that mean? It means that lead is really very hot. But if I were to say the lead score is 5, it means that it's neither hot nor cold. And if the lead score is 2, it means it's not a lead that is relevant for us. So lead scoring helps us to understand and helps our sales team to understand what are the leads that they should follow first. And it puts it all in a numerical form. But all of these things are derived from three basic things. All the CRMs, all the predictive tools, they all take these three aspects of of the lead to understand what the lead score is. So first is the behavioral attitude, second is demographic component, and third is the sales component. So let's look at each one of these. Now, how is your prospect behaving before he actually opens the lead for you, before he actually sends the lead to you? So just for an example, let's take two visitors. Let's take visitor one. He is a person who knows your company and he wants to buy the product from your company. So he goes to Google and he types your company name and searches you with your company name and arrives at your homepage. Once he arrives at your homepage, he looks at the homepage, reads it, spends some time, goes to the product page, spends some time there, then the company page, then the pricing page, and then whatever blogs you may have on your website, he reads 3 or 4 blogs on your website, and then finally goes and fills the inquiry form on your website. As compared to that, we have the visitor 2. Visitor 2 just goes, he doesn't know your company, he only knows the product that he wants to buy. So he goes to Google, he searches the product on Google, and he finds your company name on top in that search list. And he clicks on that, goes to your home page, sees the home page, immediately goes to the pricing page, looks at the pricing, maybe reads one blog on your website, and then goes and fills the inquiry form. Now the behavior of both these visitors, visitor 1 and visitor 2, is different. And if you were to rate this behavior in a manner, so let's look at how we can rate it. Suppose I were to say that a person who does a direct search and comes directly to your website from a search has given 3 points. Somebody who does normal visits every page of your website gets 1 point, and the person who fills the form, inquiry form, gets 3 points, and for every blog that he reads he gets 1 point. So for all the activities that visitor 1 did, if we score him, we will find that he gets a score of 15 marks. If we score the visitor 2 for all the things that he has done, we get a score of 5. Now, if we say, let's say, for example, in the company, we say that any lead score below 10 is not a hot lead for us, or any lead above 10 is a hot lead for us, then what would happen? The visitor 1 would become a hot lead, and the visitor 2 would not be a hot lead. This is how we are able to use the behavior of a client, of a customer, in order to get to the lead score. Now let's look at the demographics. Now every customer is not of the same type. You may have a business owner, you may have a CEO, you may have a head of a department of a senior company, or a purchase manager, or a head of department of a smaller company, or an administration manager of a small company, each of these do not have the same quality. If you get a CEO raising an inquiry, or a let's say marketing head raising an inquiry, the importance of that inquiry will be more as compared to somebody junior, or somebody not relevant, or somebody who's not in a position to take a decision. If he raises the inquiry, his rating will be less. Now, if we were to look at the same example that we had seen earlier, and we say that, okay, visitor 1 was a CEO and visitor 2 was a purchase manager of any company, then we would give 10 marks to the CEO and 4 marks to the purchase manager. Then what would happen? To the old example, if you were to add these marks, you would find that in the visitor 1 case, he had 15 marks earlier, and now we have given him another 10, so the total becomes 25. And in the case of the purchase manager, he had 5 marks earlier, and we've given him 4 more marks, so he's become 9. Now, depending upon where your lead qualification minimum is, let's say if you were to retain it at the 10, as of the case of the previous example, then what would happen? Even at this point of time, this purchase manager would not qualify to become a hot lead, whereas the visitor 1 would become an even hotter lead for the salespeople. However, there is one more qualifier. You know, your customer profile can change dramatically, and can change this whole inquiry, this lead scoring in a different way. So many times we have customers or inquiries from our ideal customer. If the ideal customer is giving an inquiry, and even if a purchase manager is giving the inquiry from an ideal customer, instead of giving him 4 rating points, we can give him 7 rating points, 8 rating points, depending on how much of an ideal fit he is for us. What happens because of this is that it always highlights those customers which are your ideal fit to your salespeople. These inquiries always gets pushed up because your rating numbers are added, and they get pushed up, and so they become more prominent for the salespeople. That is why we must always capture the demographic and the behavior information. Now you may say, how will I do this? This is not relevant for me. I can't do all of this. It's not so difficult. If you were to ask the person who develops your website for you, and ask him to incorporate these things, that it can track the people and find out from where they are coming, it is not so difficult. In case you're not able to do that, you can also build these in your inquiry form on your website, so that when the person is filling the inquiry form, some of the things that you want to find out, he can always add in that inquiry form. This will always help you to qualify your leads much better and give them a lead score. And in the end, this little bit of time that is spent by the person who's raising the inquiry can save a lot of time and a lot of money for you at your company. Now that we've understood the behavioral and the demographic, let's look at the sales part of it. How does the sales affect the lead score in the manner? Now you've given a certain lead score, and you've started following up the client. And we see many times, even in real life, that we start following up some clients, and we keep following up, and we keep doing everything for them, but they don't buy, and the whole process gets elongated, and uh, uh, we spend a lot of time and effort. And sometimes at the end, we drop that customer also. We don't follow him up any further. In the same way, for whatever you do for a particular lead, which means that you're giving him a quotation, or you've gone and met him, or you've given a presentation to the top management, or you've given a demonstration of your product to them, all of these milestones can have a rating number, which you can keep adding to your lead score, which you had generated at the beginning when you qualified the lead. Now when you add those rating numbers to them, your score at which it can cut off, let's say if at some point of time the numbers of points that you're doing is rising, but your lead score is still above that, then what will happen? You will drop that lead. So the sales process also helps you to understand what is the lead score and where it is at what stage, to help you decide whether you should carry on with this particular lead, or you should not carry on with the lead. So basically, the lead score depends on three things. It depends on your sales, it depends on your behavior, the client's behavior, prospect's behavior, his demographics, and all of that put together If it qualifies, it goes into the qualified bin. Otherwise, it goes into the unqualified bin and it doesn't get. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you've been able to understand how to rate your leads. And my program, Journey to Business, Great Business, will continue. If you like it, you can subscribe to it. You can also press the bell icon so that you can get notified about my new videos. And definitely put your comments in the chat box. I will be happy to respond to them. Thank you so much for listening to me.